Hey, what's up, everybody? The freaking camera keeps twitching on my end. Hope everybody's good out there today. Coming already. What's all this then? Hello, Ben. Yeah, it's not Friday. I'm just wanted to talk about a couple of quick things. Later on tonight, we will have from the Ben podcast. We'll have our friend Mikey leading the show tonight with attorney Anna and Big Haas as they talk about the Brandenburg case. That show will get started in about 2 hours from now, 2.5 hours from now. So in the meantime, I had some free time, so I figured I'd just kind of jump in here real quick and say hi to everybody. I'm not going to be on the show tonight, so I am on the show now. Just going to go over a couple of quick things. I saw a video from Tulsi Gabbard this morning, and I want to say that I couldn't believe what I was seeing, but I believe it. Like, shockingly not shocking. I'll be back again for those who are wondering Friday with Lindsay. Hopefully I'll get the fucking the intro music, the intro done by then and put Lindsay's face on there. But problem is the PowerPoint that I did that on was on my old computer. That computer is dead as a doornail. So I got to kind of start over from scratch, and I just haven't had a shit ton of time. Hey, Tim, what's up in the chat? Give me 15 seconds here real quick. Oh, sorry about that. The problem is that you don't ask the right people. Who was I supposed to ask, and what was the question I was supposed to ask, Mr. Famine? I don't even know what I was supposed to ask. Oh, about the PowerPoint. It should. Yeah, I mean, if you want to do it, go ahead. But you got a lot of stuff on your plate, so um, you've been doing quite a bit, and you do have the new logo now, though. So first thing that you should be doing is fixing the logo on the stuff you already made. So it's actually the logo of the show, not the old logo. Mikey, I can see Mikey at home right now. He's like, the fire is just exuding from the top of his head. But and the fucking music. Yeah, send me some music. Mikey. I made that like before a while back when Marissa was still here. So get some music that sounds kind of like that. That's like got a rocky type of theme, like a headbang thing, or whatever. I don't give a shit what kind of music it is. As long as it's Mikey Famine original music, I'm happy with it because I love Mikey Famine. Okay. Mikey doesn't love Mikey that much because Mikey's always trying to be angry and talk about how no one likes his music. Mikey, you're a talented musician. We love you. You're an amazing content creator. Okay. Stop trying to never mind. I'm not going to say anything misogynist. Speaking of misogyny, though, let me share my screen. There's a couple things I want to talk about today. I had to pull up the Twitch stream on my own computer here, and I actually have to get Mikey. Mikey, if you're around tomorrow, I want to start logging in just using Streamlabs, but there's a couple questions that I want to ask you before I hit live on that. So, but I definitely want to stop using StreamYard, at least when I do stuff by myself. But I've got a lot of shit going on right now. So, all right, first and foremost, no. Oh, what's Fox News ask me here? The Fox Nation Patriot Awards. What's this? I had no idea this ad was popping up. November 17th, Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. I've actually been to that Hard Rock Casino. It's a very nice one. I had a good time there. Win a VIP experience to the Fox Nation Patriot Awards. What holy hell is this? Package includes round trip airfare and hotel for two, plus the chance to meet Fox News personalities. Enter your email, Mikey Famine at digonamerica.com. There you go, Mikey. What? I want to read the story, but I can't get past the ads. What the fuck? Can you guys see these ads? I don't think you can. Where'd they go? They disappeared. Let me go back. Those ads were ridiculous. So I guess they disappeared now. They had ads for like Fox News branded Christmas stuff in this ad up here. Nothing's there now. Oh my God, I wish I could have clicked on that. Anyway, that was cringy stuff. Speaking of cringy, there's the word cringy. I was watching Monday Night Football the other day, like many red-blooded Americans. I thought I heard Troy Aikman say something about like, let's take off the dresses over a bad call. And I will say, like, that call, that defensive lineman, he sacked David Carr. It wasn't even a vicious sack, and they called the roughing the passer. So fancy pants Christian David Carr got a call. But it was a bad call. It calls that he should not have gotten that call. But nonetheless, after that play, and understandably, Aikman was kind of upset. Even as a former quarterback, he's like, "No, man, this is too much." The dog is barking. I was about to go out there and execute the dog. I don't know if you guys can hear the dog barking. Let me know in the chat if you can hear the dog barking in the background. But because he's in his cage right now because my son's eating food, and he wouldn't have to be in the cage if he would leave the food alone. But he doesn't. He just keeps trying to get up to the pizza, and as you know, you shouldn't feed your dog pizza, especially spicy sausage pizza. Cleaning up that poop would not be a pleasurable experience. But anyway, so Aikman, I'm going to go. Hold on one sec, guys. I also need to put a little bit of grease on that door. So anyway, Aikman says something to the account of, the league. They'll probably get to it in the article here. So Fox News, of course, is positioning this as liberal media explodes over misogynistic. Oh, look at John Travolta. Over misogynistic. This is clickbait right here. So this is what we need. John's daughter is gorgeous. We should put on there like Dutch's daughters are pretty, but I don't want to do that because I don't want people to know who they are. But maybe we'll put on there Mikey Famine's girlfriend on the side. You won't believe how amazing she is. And since that person doesn't exist because Mikey doesn't have a girlfriend on the side, there's nothing at risk. So let's see what we got here. Oh, this is on.
As a mom raising a
That's a different.
teenager, I'm already
That's a
concerned
different.
about my
That's.
kid on the
I don't know
internet.
why they put
And
that
now
video
Prop
up there.
27 would turn every cell phone into a gambling device, exposing millions.
That was a video for something else. So the story says liberal journalist erupted that Troy Aikman was sexist after the Monday Night Football commentator remarked on a controversial penalty that it was time to take the dresses off with regard to excessive roughing the passer calls. Um, during Monday's Kansas City Las Vegas game, Chiefs lineman Chris Jones, not to be confused with Dr. Chris Jones, he's been on our show, appeared to sack Raiders quarterback David Carr, forcing a fumble and then recovering the ball. Because Jones landed on Carr as he made the play, officials threw a flag for roughing. Though he doesn't say there, but he did, like, he didn't really land on him with his weight. He had his arm down. I hope the competition committee looks at this during the set of meetings and we take the dresses off, Aikman said on ESPN, seemingly upset by the call. So I did hear that. That is true. He did say that. But when I heard it, I was like, my first thought was, and look, of course, Fox News, no problem with throwing the article in there that another athlete has been charged with a misdemeanor assault. They love that type of news. Oh, look, dangerous dark-skinned people. But I heard it and I was like, I kind of rolled my eyes, right? And I think that's the way that most people looked at it, as like, hey, we rolled our eyes. And yeah, a lot of us still use language sometimes that we shouldn't use. I haven't heard anybody calling for Troy Aikman's job. I haven't heard anybody talking about this in any meaningful way. I haven't heard if Aikman said anything about it afterwards or not, like, yeah, I shouldn't have said that or whatever. I don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But definitely is a comment that we need to steer away from using. And if you use it, because, I said stuff like that in the past, especially, when referring to, stuff that you would look at like, oh, you pansy, that sort of thing. Like pansy, I think is a fine word. If someone's being weak, like people can be weak, but weakness should not be attributed as a female trait, right? So there are a lot of women out there who are very strong. In fact, most women are a lot stronger than the men I know. And what happens when we use those terms is that we equate weakness to being a woman. And it is a damaging stereotype. It is stereotypes like that have helped to pile on and propagate the the oppression that women have experienced, right? So I mean, a lot of people don't believe that women have been oppressed or that they haven't been oppressed for quite some time. And it's like because for them, in order to be oppressed, you have to like literally have people marching through the streets saying, F all the women or KILL all the women or something. Like anything short of that doesn't qualify as any sort of discrimination or oppression, right? It's got to be blatant, in your face, loud, and exact. Dog whistles do not apply to the right wing. Which is literally why they call them dog whistles, because the right wing doesn't hear them. They or people in the middle, I should say, don't hear them. The right wing knows what they are. Because they're called to arms for them. We hear what they are now. That's the problem, is that now they're not. The dog whistle can be heard by the left, and it's making them really, really upset. People, the racist people who use, and the misogynistic people who use terms like that, maybe not like the dresses one, but the stuff, beyond that, this, they, like lock, like send her back. Like they were talking about, like Ilhan Omar, or, war on drugs, war on crime. people in the middle didn't hear the dog whistle. People on the left didn't really hear the dog whistle. They repeated the dog whistle. Um, but now that people are able to hear the dog whistle and say, wait, why are you using a dog whistle? That's not good. Like, oh, how dare you call me out for something? It's ridiculous. So let's read about how the left lost its mind, because apparently the framing of this article, as it says, is liberal media explodes on Troy Aikman. Yahoo sports writer Ryan Young immediately wrote about the penalty and Aikman's commentary, calling his comment offensive, cringy, and lazy. Aikman is far from alone in wanting the NFL to adjust rules surrounding this type of play. Tony Dungy, Sean Payton called for it almost immediately, Young wrote. Yet Aikman using a sexist trope to make a point was offensive, cringy, and lazy. I haven't read this article yet. I just saw the headline and immediately pulled it up because I'm like, oh, this is good. The Hall of Famer, after more than 2 decades in the broadcast booth, should know better by now. First of all, oh my God, I can't believe it's been 2 decades since he retired, but it has. He was like one of my first ever fantasy football quarterbacks, and I owned him when his career ended. I think it was week 1 of 2000. But he should know by now. He should. USA Today columnist Rex Hupke offered his own solution to balance fair play, but took some jabs at Aikman. Longtime concussion recipient Troy Aikman has decided the National Football League is doing too much to stop players from brain damaging each other, saying that the league should take the dresses off when it comes to roughing the passer penalties. He said that instead of taking the dresses off, as Aikman suggested, the NFL should just lose the helmets and pads, opting for completely nude football games. Okay, no, he didn't. I guarantee you, if I read that, if you read that tweet, he's obviously being sarcastic, right? No one in their right mind is going to suggest that NFL players go out there and without pads, without helmets, which they wear for a reason, and play naked. Nobody is suggesting that would be what they would do. So that's literally is sarcasm, right? Not a very good argument. Aikman's old team is famous for the scantily clad Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. Why not have the players go a few steps beyond that? It would surely make the on-field hits softer. As far as tough guy, pro bro attitude, Aikman, trust me, anyone playing football nude has some seriously big courage. Yeah, I don't think that's a serious tweet. And if it is, then the guy's an idiot. Aikman faced criticism on Twitter. You don't say. Are you trying to tell me that people on Twitter react to things? So what's Fox News going to do here? Make it seem like the entire left is trying to cancel Aikman over this statement? Because they're not. Full agreement that the call against Chris Jones was BS, but did Troy Aikman just say, this is for a tweet from Ariel Orsuto? But did Aikman just say he hopes the competition committee takes their dresses off, as in trying to demean them by calling them women? Is he serious? That's exactly what I said. There's plenty of other ways. Call him a pansy. You know, call him weak. Call him a weenie. Plenty of ways to do it without demeaning a group. Mike Freeman, you can make your point without talking about dresses, Aikman. Yeah. Seems like a totally reasonable tweet to me. Doesn't appear to me that that this is anything insane. Did Aikman say what I think he said? Did he say it's time for the league to take their dresses off? The 60s called. They want their chauvinist back. Yeah. I mean, so what? So what? This is all very benign. Fortune magazine editorial director Rachel Shadalam agreed the ref's call was awful, but criticized Aikman for his sexist comment. I guarantee you that if Troy Aikman and every other man who says shit like this had to experience menstrual cramps, they would shut the fuck up. You're probably right. That's a really good point. But Fox is Fox. So why did Fox write this article? Well, I mean, we've read pretty much all the quotes that they quoted. I wouldn't call this, number one, I wouldn't call this liberal media exploding. At all. This doesn't seem like an explosion. This seems like people taking to Twitter with an opinion, which is what people do on Twitter. Offensive, cringy, and lazy. Agree. It was offensive. It's offensive towards women because you used a term that is meant to say that men who are weak are women. Again, when women are markedly stronger than men in many, many ways. Especially because they have to put up with this shit. Cringy and lazy. Yeah, that's a pretty soft that's a pretty soft criticism. I missed the part where the woke mob is trying to take down Troy Aikman. I don't see it. But what they want you to think is that we are nuts. And what they want you to think, the positioning of this article, is to have people read it and be like, people are so woke, man. You can't say anything anymore, man. They're coming for my job, man. What I have to like, if we keep voting for these people, we're all gonna end up getting fired at some point because everybody's gonna say something at some point that the woke mob might not like, and they're being way too sensitive with this. They're snowflakes. So how am I supposed to go to work, man, and work when they keep telling me that I can't say anything? Like, how do I know I'm not going to slip up and then I'll get fired for something that's not even bad? Because this isn't even bad. There's nothing wrong with saying take the dresses off. It's not bad. It's fine. Normal people do that. But this is exactly what you should expect if you pay attention to American history. This is precisely what you should expect if you pay attention to American history. Because in American history, anytime that there is a cultural revolution, they will try to abnormalize it and say, no, 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 no. You might think this is good, but it's actually bad because it's going to be bad for another group of people. So what's good for this group of people is going to be bad for another group of people. So find a different way to do it. And then the next way will also be wrong. And the time after that, also wrong. Because misogyny and racism to the right wing doesn't matter. Tonight on the show, on Leftist Late Night, Mikey and Anna and Haas are going to talk to you about First Amendment freedom of speech. This is what they're talking about, except that this doesn't really, nobody is trying to cancel Troy Aikman. But they want you to think that that he's being canceled. because they want you to think that the ice over on this side of the pond is so thin that anyone walking on it is subject to having that ice break on them at any time. And the only way to keep that from happening, to save your jobs, to save your sons, it's always your sons. Save our sons. Some girl is going to lead him on. He's going to have sex with her without her asking, and then he's going to go to jail. Save my son from this wretched wench. Without ever stopping to think that maybe your son shouldn't sexually assault someone who's, says no. How about that? How about somebody says, nah, I'm good. And you say, okay, cool. Move on. That's a novel idea. How's that sound? That sounds pretty fair. But no. Oh, but they said yes in all these other ways. So isn't that funny? Isn't it funny, guys, that like sexist dog whistling to the right wing, like sexual dog whistling, is they're super sensitive about it. Like, oh my God, a drag queen danced. The dog whistles are that men and that boys are girls and girls are boys. Didn't you hear the dog whistle? There was a drag queen dancing at a bar. The dog whistle is Satan is coming to get us. He's going to get us. Satan is going to get us. A beautiful woman goes out to a bar wearing a beautiful dress and looking her all dolled up, looking her best. Proud of how she looks. But she's dog whistling. She's sending subliminal messages to the guy at the bar, which makes him unable to contain his sexual rage. She's dog whistling him in a way, right? I know it's not the exact same thing. I get that. But like, it's kind of similar because they're like, oh, well, this is actually what they're saying here. The woman is actually saying she wants to have sex with me. No, she's saying she likes red and likes high heels. And she thinks she looks good in red. That's what she's saying. She didn't put on the dress for you. She put it on for herself. And if you're her husband or whatever, and she did put it on for you, good for you. Right? But if there's some covert racism, oh no, you're just hearing things. You're so woke. You're such a snowflake. You're so woke. It's amazing. It's amazing to me. Last thing, super last thing, as Jenk would say. Let's see. I guess I have to stop sharing and do it over here. I'm gonna watch a quick video with you guys. Where is everybody? Jeez, man. I want to log in and see like 100 people reading this stream one day. And it's gonna happen. How do I want to, let's see here. Let's see what happens. What you got to say to me, Tulsi? Oh, did I share let me stop sharing this actually real quick. I don't remember if I hit the audio button. I did not. Okay, let's hit the audio button. So Tulsi Gabbard made a big announcement. I wonder what this could possibly be. Tulsi's tweet: I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that is now under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers driven by cowardly wokeness who divide us by radicalizing every issue and stoke our anti white racism, actively work to undermine our God given freedoms. Our dot, dot, dot. All right, Tulsi.
I can no longer remain in today's Democratic Party that's under the complete control of an elitist cabal of warmongers who are driven by cowardly wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti white racism.
Oh, it was racializing, not radicalizing. Sorry. But nice of Tulsi to repeat exactly what her tweet said. That was nice of her. I think we'll go to this in a second and read the comments. So let's listen again to what she says here.
Wokeness, who divide us by racializing every issue and stoking anti white racism, who act
Anti-white racism. Divide us. I'm trying to figure out where this comes from because it seems like the more you are on the left, the more accused you are of being divisive. Can you give me an example, Tulsi, of what you're talking about here? What is an example of the divisiveness? I'm interested to know what an example is of the divisiveness. What happened to the Tulsi who helped herself to divide the Democratic Party? I commended her when she stepped down as I think she was the chairman or the vice chairman of the either the DNC or the DCCC, one of the two, back in 2016, during the Sanders Clinton debacle with Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Tulsi stepped down and said, "I'm going to support Bernie Sanders." It might have even been before the Debbie Wasserman Schultz thing. I remember it took place during that primary, though. But like, she was accused then of being divisive. In that particular case, she said she wasn't being divisive. And I think she made the right stand. But like so many who made that stand that weren't really on the left, now she's a different story. So centrist Democrats are going to use her as an example of say, oh, see, all you Bernie supporters are all the same. You're all actually just a step away from Trumpism. Just a smidge, just a step from Trumpism that you are. But I want an example of what the divisiveness is, because I remember Joe Biden's platform, and it really hadn't to do with unity. Trump is the one who would go out on stage and talk about the radical left. They're dividing our country. The radical left is dividing our country, while calling names. I didn't know that name calling was used to bring people closer together. When you go to a wedding, people don't say, okay, bride and groom, call each other names. No, they say nice things by each other because they're coming together. If you meet someone new, you don't meet them and say, hey, what's up, fatso? Nice dress. No, you don't say that. You say, hi, how are you? It's a very nice dress. That's a very nice pair of shoes. I like your watch. I've heard good things about you. Something like that. You don't walk up and say, man, that stash is trash. Your beard is weird. You don't do that. Trump did. Where's your criticism? I don't see it. Anti-white racism. Wrong. To quote Charlie Murphy. Wrong. What is anti-white racism? What is it? I want to know what anti-white racism is. Because in what, how do you have the power over, in the first place, of the white people? But the saying that white people are responsible. So first of all, white people get upset when you group them as white, right? But I don't really see how we have the right. It bothers me too. I'm not going to lie to you, like sometimes. But at the end of the day, I have to accept the fact that my ancestors, or at least the people that they, other white people did this. Like, my ancestors didn't necessarily do it, but when their white colleagues created the group of white, my ancestors were not out there going, "No, don't do that. We don't want to be the white group." They were like, "Cool, gotcha," and then they went on with their day. Right? So, like, the Constitution literally divides and groups people. In plain old English, literally divides people. Literally created groups. So for you to say, "Hey, that happened," isn't racist. You did this racist thing. Oh, but now you're being racist towards me. No, doesn't work that way. Sorry. What else you got, Tulsi?
Actively work to undermine our God-given issue and stoking anti-white racism, who actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are hostile to people of faith and spirituality, who demonize the police but protect criminals.
Okay, what? Let's read that. Let's hear that one more time.
Actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are
Like what? What freedom? What freedom is the left undermining? What freedom of yours is the Democratic Party that you're leaving right now undermining? Which freedom? There's no example given here. Again, I'm waiting for the freedom that's being taken from you. I'm curious to know what it is. No example given.
that are enshrined in our Constitution, who are
Okay, whatever.
hostile to people of faith and spirituality.
Okay, first of all, that's not true. Nobody is hostile towards people of spirituality. Spirituality is a super wide spectrum. Okay? Like, it's hard to even define what does and doesn't fall on to the the spectrum of spirituality. Almost every American is spiritual in some way. You know, um not all, but almost every. Like, if you were to poll, 90% of people are going to at least fall on the spiritualism spectrum, if not higher. And so, like, so you're telling me that we're demonizing 90% of Americans? They're spiritual. And no one is hostile towards people of faith. We're hostile towards people of faith interjecting their views onto others who are not willing or interested in that faith, because people of that faith think that they have a unique structural morality that is not incumbent, wrong word, that is intrinsic to their faith, right? That without their faith, this level of morality not possible, with no evidence. So we're hostile towards you taking your morality that say porn is the devil, right? And then saying you must believe that porn is the devil when I don't believe porn is the devil. I believe RedTube's a pretty cool channel. Anyway, continuing on.
Who demonize the police but protect criminals.
And by the way, I seem to remember the right wing demonizing people they believe are sinners, but they'll say, "Oh no, I don't hate the sinner. I just hate the sin." Okay, I don't hate the person of faith. I just hate the pushing of faith. Okay, so like it's super interesting that when they push their idea of what is evil or what is satanic or what is worldly, and demonize that as being a literal demon. That's where the term came from. No criticism from the left ever on that. Name me one time. Name me one time. My signal got a little slow. I'm just waiting for it to build back up. I can see it here. All right, it appears to be getting a little bit better. Yeah, sorry about that. My internet was lagging for a second there, so I apologize if you didn't hear it. But again, you never hear that. You never hear that they're you never hear that the right is wrong for demonizing like strippers or people who work at bars, or athletes. They do that all. They demonize athletes all the time. Never hear athlete that doesn't appreciate what they have. Internet lagging again there. Should probably plug in. Anyway, I'm going to log off in a minute. Let's just finish this cringy video. Cringy and lazy, just like Troy.
The expense of law-abiding Americans who believe in open borders, who weaponize the national security state to go after their political opponents, and above all, who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war.
Huh? So, hold on one sec, guys. I'm going to do something to keep my stream up. All right. Anyway, Oh, perils of podcasting. I swear to God. Uh, anyway, so Tulsi here seems to think that the left is alone in this. So has she forgotten like the right wing's love affair with war? And they're so tell me, how are we getting inching closer to nuclear war? Like with whom? With Russia, China, Iran? Whom? I want to know whom it is because I'm not aware of us being inched closer to nuclear war. I mean, I know that the we're approaching midnight on that clock thingamajig, um, but not at any expedited rate. Not because of the Democrats, at least not because of the Democrats alone. Airplanes have two wings, phones work two ways. The Republican Party is not equally complicit. They are far more complicit in this than the Democratic Party is. The Democrats at least have people on their side who are staunchly anti-war. You might have a couple of extreme Republicans who say they're anti-war, Boebert, and Marjorie Taylor Greene, Rand Paul, who claim to be anti-war, but then when it comes down to it, they're not. They'd happily go to war with Iran. Like in a second, they'd go to war with Iran like that. So the beer goggles are interesting here, Tulsi.
Now, I believe in a government that's...
Oh, wait. Did you see the smile come there? Watch the face change. This is how you know. Serious, somber face. This is the posture. She's super well postured. Like she's a beautiful woman. And like she does this stuff real well. She postures extremely well. She's amazing when it comes to being on the camera. Her serious face works and her happy face works. They're both equally effective. She's good. Don't get me wrong. She knows what she's doing because watch the transition here.
who are dragging us ever closer to nuclear war.
So that's the transition phase because here it comes.
Now, I believe in a government.
So the dimples are here. Let's see. Have the dimples been there at all? No dimples. No dimples. Yeah, but that's probably
Actively work to undermine our God-given freedoms that are enshrined in our Constitution.
yeah, because she was talking about God and the Constitution, so she was smiling. That's a freak face, Anyway, let's see.
By the people and for the people.
See, because she's talking about the Constitution there. So be happy. Boy, she's good.
Unfortunately, today's Democratic Party does not. Instead, it stands for a government that is of, by, and for the powerful elite. Now, I'm calling on my fellow common sense, independent-minded Democrats.
Really? Are you? Okay, whatever.
To join me in leaving the Democratic Party.
To go where? So, like, be specific. What is it you're asking? Are you asking me to become a Republican? Or are you asking me just to leave the Democratic Party, Tulsi? Hey, CDN, Ollie Man, Canadian Ollie Man. Which is it? What are you asking me to do? Because you're not being specific here. You're saying, join me in leaving the Democratic Party. Okay, I'm fine with that. I don't necessarily want to be a member of the Democratic Party. That does nothing for me. But it's my voting that is essential. It is the candidates that I support that is essential and their message. So let's listen again.
In leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer stomach...
Like she looks so happy. But where? Where are we going? Let's see. Let's give her let's make sure we're in context here. So happy.
Common sense, independent-minded Democrats to join me in leaving the Democratic Party. If you can no longer
So now you're going to tell us where to go. If we can no longer
stomach the direction that the so-called woke Democratic Party ideologues
woke. There it is. So you've got common sense, independent Democrats, and you have woke mob.
are taking our country.
Like what? Like the story we just read with Aikman? They're not taking anything from you. It's a passing comment.
I invite you to join me.
Where? Join you where? Where am I joining you? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know where I'm joining you at. I don't know what your message is. Democrats too wokey. So instead, you're going to go on Fox News. You're going to go host Tucker Carlson. Aren't you the same person who Sean Hannity a couple years ago said, raise your right hand, you're a Republican? We all know that one. She's like, Sean Hannity said it years ago. She doesn't sound like a Republican to me or like a Democrat to me. That's because she hasn't been one for about since at the minimum that I can glean, since the middle of her presidential campaign. Because at some point in time during the presidential campaign, she realized that she had to pick a lane. And the lane that she picked was right-wing Democrat. And because you had Bernie all the way on, Bernie occupied that far left lane, right? Joe Biden occupied that centrist lane. And like I said, Tulsi's a smart politician. So she was like, okay, Elizabeth Warren's kind of over on the Bernie side. Buttigieg, Andrew Yang, they're sort of on like the Biden side. And Yang's another story with his forward party, the party with no position. But Tulsi, God, we had two fucking candidates on that stage, Tulsi and Andrew Yang, who both flipped out on us, don't we? But Tulsi was like, no, dude, I'm going to take the right-wing Democrat lane, which is easy to do because Democrats, for the most part, have been just a couple inches to the left of the Republican Party. You don't say. Guys, 1 hour, 30 minutes from now, join us for Leftist Late Night. Hopefully we don't see Tulsi Gabbard, I think she'll soon be on Fox News as a full-time anchor, and I would not be surprised at all if she's running for like governor somewhere as a independent. And she'll probably win and end up being a right-wing ideologue because she saw that people liked it. They clicked on her. She got clicks. Tulsi got clicks by picking that right-wing lane, that populist lane. Populist does not necessarily mean right-wing, of course, because Bernie was a populist, but you see what I'm saying. That's what she chose, and that's working for her. It's getting her money. It's getting her clicks. And, I think she's probably going to run for governor. I don't know if she'll run for president again, maybe vice president, but not. Oh, she'd be a good running mate for some fucking like Ron DeSantis instead of Nikki Haley, because that's what people have been talking about is like Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley. He could pick Tulsi Gabbard because she'd be a good wolf in sheep's clothing. They're smart, so they'll probably do that. There was a contingent of us who thought that Biden should pick Condoleezza Rice as a strategy move. And I didn't think it was a horrible idea. to at least think about. I think we did much better though with Kamala. So, but anyway, I'm out of here. The guys will see you in an hour and a half to talk about the Brandenburg case and freedom of speech, freedom from Tulsi Gabbard's wokeness, right-wing wokeness. We're woke. I'm going to sleep now.